Today on Forbes, meet the Fintech startup powering the cannabis industry. In February 2016, Kevin Hart, the former CEO of Apple computer repair outfit TechServe, found himself standing inside an Oakland, California vault filled with many millions of dollars in cash. The vault belonged to one of the country's first medical marijuana dispensaries, Harborside, and the cash, derived from state legal medical marijuana sales, was nonetheless considered illegal drug money under federal law. Hart, who is now the 65-year-old co-founder and CEO of Florida-based cannabis banking compliance company, GreenCheck, was there to help Harborside build a payment processing system. Hart, who is not related to the famous comedian, says, quote, "It's a big vault. It made the scene in Breaking Bad look like I knocked over my granddaughter's piggy bank. That's how much money was there." Hart turned to his host at the bank, the legendary California cannabis activist and entrepreneur, Dress Wedding, who founded Harborside in 2006 with Steve D'Angelo, and asked why the hell they kept so much money around. Wedding explained that the dispensary could not get a bank account because marijuana was still illegal at the federal level. That is when Hart realized that Harborside and other state legal cannabis companies had a huge problem. They had nearly no access to America's mainstream financial system. Even though marijuana is legal in 38 states, 25 of which allow for recreational sales to adults 21 and older, the drug is still illegal under federal law. This means that most banks and payment processors have policies forbidding them to work with pot providers. And most payment processors, including the big ones like Visa and MasterCard, similarly do not allow cannabis transactions on their networks, which has forced the industry to conduct most of its sales, about 75%, in cash. For an industry that is expected to generate nearly $35 billion in sales this year, according to cannabis data firm BDSA, that means billions of dollars are transacted the old-fashioned way with paper currency. Hart says, quote, "That was a thunderbolt moment for me. That was it. I was on a mission to solve this problem. I realized that it was a data problem, not a money problem." On the flight home to Connecticut, Hart took out his notebook and started mapping out how state-licensed cannabis companies and banks, two highly regulated industries, could work together. And for the next 3 years, he worked with 3 of his co-founders, Paul Dunford, John Gadea, and Michael Kennedy, to develop a compliance software product that could convince banks to work with state-licensed but federally illegal cannabis companies by proving every dollar and every product was made and sold according to state law. The result is GreenCheck software, which plugs into a dispensary's payment operating system and aggregates inventory, purchase orders, and sales to ensure cannabis companies are following hundreds of rules and regulations. In doing so, it collects a lot of financial data. The software then feeds that information to banks to make sure financial institutions do not break anti-money laundering rules or run afoul of the Bank Secrecy Act by doing business with a federally illegal business. Every month, GreenCheck's compliance software verifies the legitimacy of roughly $1 billion in cannabis sales across the country, meaning it processes about 40% of the U.S.'s $30 billion in 2023 annual sales legal marijuana market. It has sold its software to more than 150 financial institutions to help more than 11,000 cannabis companies, from retailers to growers and manufacturers, get and maintain a bank account. The banks, which are looking to get in on the ground floor of a growing industry, pay about $5,000 a month. Cannabis companies get the software for free. It's not a lot of money for GreenCheck. The company booked $8.3 million in revenues last year and is looking at around $12 million this year. Since 2019, they raised $19 million at a $90 million valuation from the likes of Mendon Venture Partners, Flatiron Venture Partners, and Fenway Summer Ventures. For full coverage, check out Will Yakowitz's piece on forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.